Good morning.
Wednesday came again so quickly.
I know, but the sun is shining, so it's a pretty day. So this is good.
It has been my type of weather all week. I'm loving it. I see people walking around out in the apartment complex wearing jackets like they're bundled up, and I'm just sitting there in t-shirt. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah, no, fall is the best.
Well, we have everybody already wait. We were the late ones showing up today. Too busy talking about train museums and possibilities.
Yes, where we're off to next if we can do it.
Yes. So, hello to Natalie and Melanie and our good friend and helper, Rebecca. We have so many of our friends showing up. It is the Feast of Archangels. We actually have a display in the table at the store today for that. And one of the most fun names we have, Poodle Pants, Melanie. Let's see. Maple yogurt matcha, Marianne. That's a combination I haven't tried before. Maple yogurt matcha.
Yeah, no, I don't go there.
So while we show some of our good mornings, we'll just say if you are new and have never joined us before, this is where you can ask questions in the comments about earthbound spirits, negative energy, just a smidge, only a minute.
A minute. We'll make up for it on the other end.
Yes. We usually always go long. But ask questions in the comments about Earthbound Spirits, the TV show The Ghost Whisperer, negative energy, portals. What else? A little bit on the fairy side, Marianne. You can work with them. Clarification, eating maple yogurt and drinking matcha. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I've seen weirder combinations. Like I knew somebody who liked to put spray cheese on chocolate chip cookies, and I just could not fathom that one.
Just the idea of spray cheese. I don't care what it's on. It's gross.
Excuse me. But we will more Marianne, less we. We'll answer questions on earthbound spirits, fairies, portals, negative energies, all those fun little topics. Or if you ever had questions about behind the scenes of the Ghost Whisperer, because Marianne, they base that on you loosely, as you say.
Yeah, very loosely, but yeah, it's funny. It's like they would call and ask, "Can we do this?" And I'd go, "No, you can't." And then I'd watch it on Friday, and they did it anyway. So it's like, yeah, okay. Low man on the totem pole. That was my title.
But you did get to know your UPS man really well, right?
Because very well. I mean, every day we saw him. Yeah, I had to give him a Christmas gift. So.
Does he ever swing by now in the meantime? Like, I just miss seeing you.
No, it was really weird. I was looking for stuff for a workshop one time and going to different garage sales and went into this yard, and as he goes, "Marianne," and he comes over and he hugs me. I'm thinking, who is this man? I don't even know who this man is. Didn't recognize him without his uniform on.
The one time I ran into my store UPS man, he's a little guy, full of energy. It was at Red Robin. And I'm sitting, I'm like, I think I know him. I don't know them. I think I know him. And he came up, he's like, "Hi." And I'm like, "Oh, no."
It's you, right?
And I'm like, "Sorry." I'm like, staring. So I'm like, I think I know you. I don't know you.
That happens to me a lot. Like, I don't always remember names, but I can pretty good remember faces. It's like when I had my grooming shop. I knew every dog's name. I didn't know the owner's name, but I knew the dog's name. So, and that was the important one. So.
Well, here's a good question, and it kind of leads into some of the Zoom that we also offer. And Swifty says, "My apartment is ghost proof, but I'm wondering if I got on a Zoom, could Marianne see where the spirits are elsewhere in my building?"
Yes, I probably could within, probably a 2-floor radius. But what good would it do? That doesn't mean that they're going to be there in an hour. That would only be, they are there now when I'm talking to you. The only important thing is to make sure your space is safe.
Well, and we don't want to trudge too much on the personal privacy of the other apartments, and which you're pretty good at that. You won't be like, well, that apartment 2B.
And they love to gossip, believe you me. I mean, I learn more. Oh, I learn more things. You know, a lot of times my brain is going la 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 because I don't need to know that information. So yeah, but some of the people's houses that I do, well, can you tell? Are they from next door? What's going on over there? Is he really a drinker? It's like, no, we don't talk about that kind of stuff.
It's not your business.
That's right.
So Natalie asks, can fairies, trolls, and etc. see us the way we are, and can they hear us?
If they are on our vibrational level, they can hear anything that is said. Absolutely.
And Melanie asks, how's the podcast coming?
Slowly but surely, it's coming. It is coming.
We've got our topics down. It's just finishing up actually with Miss Rebecca on intros, outros, getting them in, and then sitting down, recording, feeding them together. So it's almost there, guys.
We're working. I mean, we are. Well, Melissa's really working on it, not Marianne. Melissa's really, because she doesn't have anything better to do anyway.
I mean, what's the sleep thing people speak of?
Yeah, totally unnecessary.
Let's see. And then she asks, is that a Princess Bride shirt? Kind of. And you guys know me, my shirts are all mashups. So this is a tarot / Princess Bride shirt. And Princess Bride, as much as I love The Nightmare Before Christmas, The Princess Bride's actually my most favoriteest movie ever. So when I saw this one, I'm like, I gotta have it. So
I have never seen anything that you're talking about. So
what?
Never.
Okay. Oh, we're gonna have to fix that. I mean, how were you on this earth and not watch that movie?
Nope, never saw it. Never even heard about it until you mentioned it. So
oh man, now I'm sad.
No,
I'm so sad.
It's okay, I'm not. So.
We're gonna have to fix this. Anybody want a peanut? Let's see. Oh, Rebecca, eye roll. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, there's my coffee cup. I'm sorry, did I just roll my eyes out loud?
And here's a good question for Mr. Miyagi. We haven't seen him in a little while. It says, have you ever witnessed a house with a regular earthbound attachment that is disturbed by a portal and those that come out of the portal? Also, good morning.
Yes, a lot of times when they have a regular come through the front door, back door ghost, and they get really upset about the ones that come out of a portal because they're nasty. And they can't do anything about it. And a lot of times when I go to close a portal, there is nobody there from the portal, but the spirit that is there will tell me exactly who it was that came out of the portal. So the homeowners still know who was there, but yeah, and that's when I let them tattle because I want to know who was out of the portal too. But once it's closed, of course, they can't come back in. But I really like them to be there when I come so they at least have a choice. They may want to go to the light and at least they can, be where they need to be. But 99% of them jump right back in the portal. They do not want to go.
Probably afraid of what that retribution is waiting on the other side.
Right. And the ones that are between 19, 18 and 35, 36, oh, they're having way too good of a time. They don't want to go back into the light, not at all.
Well, see, I'm not the only one here. I have taste. So the podcast will be on Spotify, pretty much all the platforms. And I know that there's new platforms that host podcasts popping up, and I try to keep up with that. So it will be on Spotify, Amazon, all the things, iTunes, you name it. I'm just trying to think of all the things that our hosting can go to. So it'll pretty much be everywhere. Let's see. There was questions again about fairies, and there's so much fun going on in the chat that I'm looking. Here we go. It says, are fairies like angels, all nice and helpful to humans? They're kind of jerks.
Not really. That's what they want you to think, but they really are not. I mean, if they're outside in your garden doing their thing, they're helpful, they're good, there's not a problem. But boy, bring them in the house or they come in the house, they can cause all kinds of problems. So you would think because they're so cute and tiny and sparkly and not at all. It's not at all. So no, you really don't want to get too involved with them. As a matter of fact, I think I said last Wednesday I was leaving to go buy a whole supply of chicks and hens.
Mhm.
Got them. So
Okay.
going to start making up a solution for the wee folk because people, I don't know how to do it. I can't find the chicks and hens. Where do I find lemon verbena? Blah, 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 blah. So I'm just going to go ahead and make up a bunch of batches and bottle it. And if you need it, you need it. I think what I will do with that, Melissa, if you want, I will give you some of that to sell at the store.
Okay.
Because people come in all the time looking for that. So we'll do that. But yeah, so I'm excited to make that. As soon as I don't want to sleep tonight, I'll make it.
Hey,
Yeah.
you can call me and I'll be working on my things. You can
Yeah,
work on
yeah.
your things. We'll keep one another up.
There you go. There you go.
Baylor one, have you came across any war-related ghosts?
Oh yeah, a lot of people from not so much World War I, but World War II, and a lot of the soldiers would bring home souvenirs and from the killing field, and if that was some other soldier's personal weapon or bayonet or whatever it is, they came with you with that little piece of stuff that you bought. People that go online and what's that? The bay where you could
eBay.
eBay. Thank you. They buy things like that on that. You just never know. You buy something like that, leave it in your garage, and do the little ceremony in the back of When Ghosts Speak on whatever you bought, just in case somebody's attached to it or the negative energy. A lot of that stuff is so cursed that when you bring it in the house, you are going to feel it.
Just from when my son's father was in, and he was over in Saudi, and the stuff that he and the guys brought home, and I'm just like, why?
A souvenir. I was here. I killed this guy, so I want his gun. That is not even legal. I mean, they really have to hide that stuff to even bring it home because they cracked down. I think they really cracked down on the people when they were in Vietnam, watching what they brought back with them.
Yeah,
brought back a thing, but World War II, yeah. And anything that's anybody buys from the prison island up around Put-in Bay, I forget what that island is called, where they took the soldiers during Civil War. There's so much stuff that people sell from there, and that stuff is really bad too.
It's funny because I looked at doing an event with us out there, and it's.
Why can't I remember the name of that place?
That because I can't.
Is it Johnson's Island? No, that's not right. Oh, somebody's going to know, I'm sure.
They're already Googling. I can hear the Google.
Yeah, but it's around Put-in Bay, the islands up there. And it's still there. People go into that camp. And no.
Yeah, I've looked at it for something to do with us, and I still just haven't pieced the transportation back and forth easily and getting the people across.
Yeah, that would be really hard to do something.
It's a logistics issue.
Of course, I would have to tell you because I've gone up to Put-in Bay and done work on the islands up there. And if somebody knew that oh, it makes me so angry, I can't remember. If we were having an event there, it would be all people from those islands that would come because they live with it every day.
I mean, I have connections kind of into the winery that has the geode underneath the cavern, because we would use it for the shaman class, to use that as part of the initiation with Earth. And the winery itself isn't that big to hold a whole lot of people, but
Right.
it would almost have to contact a few different places and make multiple stops walking around the island. So
Johnson's.
it is Johnson's Island.
Johnson's Island. That's what it is. I'm almost 100% sure it's Johnson's.
I'm sure yep, here we go.
Yep. I got it before you guys did. Yeah, great.
Brittany, says Treasure Island.
Yeah, not Treasure. I'd go visit that one. So.
Right. Yeah. Hey, Sam, one of our local
Thank
friends.
you, everybody. Eventually it came to me. Right.
Well, all of a sudden I looked over and the chat thing said multiple new comments with an arrow down. And I'm like, scrolled. I'm like, answer.
Yeah,
so,
there you go.
Let me get back
the people that watch are so smart. They can pick up anything that we can't figure out.
I know. They make us look, smarter than we are. It's great. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Let's see. So have you ever known an Earthbound to take a break from haunting strangers to go say hi to the family before they continue on?
Yes. And that's what would happen if it was one of your relatives that didn't cross over. They would spend a couple days with you, go to a sibling, go to a mother's house, and they never stay long enough to cause a problem. But absolutely, they come and visit, and they just don't stay because they wouldn't want to make their daughter or granddaughter or great-granddaughter sick. So they just don't stay very long, but they sort of keep an eye on you. Yes.
So how would somebody, Monster Bully Pup asked, I'm trying to find their comment, how would they know if they have a portal in their home?
Okay, people that have a normal, regular earthbound spirit in their house, it's there 24/7. You either get used to it or you recognize the thumps and the bumps and you don't care. If you've got a portal in the house, when an earthbound spirit comes out of a portal, they can't stay any longer than a day and a half or two. So let's say somebody popped out of the portal on Sunday. So Sunday would be sort of an aggravating day. Stupid stuff would happen. Maybe almost all day Monday. Tuesday, it's fine. Wednesday, it's fine. It starts again tomorrow. So it's when it's not consistent problems in the house, when it's a couple times a week, or just a couple times a week that your son won't come out of the bedroom, that he's got himself locked in his bedroom. It's a couple times a week, and that's usually the dead giveaway that it's not all the time.
Let's see. Jackie says our home has the quin seats up and is protected. Now we are remodeling the detached garage. How do we clear the ghosts moving around in there before we put new seats up?
Well, it's a detached garage, so that tells me that unless you're putting a car in or taking it out, that nobody really stays in the garage very long. And so I take the seeds down, and when the new garage is built, give me a call, Jackie. I know exactly who you are. Give me a call, and if the new garage is fine, you just smack the seeds right back up again.
Kind of easy. They can give a call or even come up on Zoom. Right?
Yeah.
Because Zoom's pretty instant. Sandy Claus, because Nightmare Before Christmas kidnapped the Sandy Claus. Sandy Kulas. I've heard people say that guardian angels have taken on human form and have aided them in difficult times. Do you believe this to be true?
There's a lot of people that think that angels take on a human form. Ted is absolutely convinced that we talked to one. I told that story about a month ago, and he's positive that was an angel that was, as a human, just looking for somebody to give him compassion and help him. And so, yeah, I really believe that happens. Think of Clarence from the Christmas movie, trying to get what is it, Ted?
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. See, Ted knows those things. And so, yeah, but Clarence took on a human form. Of course, only Jimmy Stewart could see him as a human form. But I think when they do it in real life, outside of a movie, I think sometimes you could be talking to an angel.
So speaking of your fairy repellent, you have the recipe on your website?
I do. It is on the website. Absolutely.
And what was it? The first Wednesday back in February of 2021 was the live you and I did. That was nothing but fairies.
Oh,
And had the whole recipe in there. I even typed it out and put it in the comments, so it should show up even in the comments on the channel.
you can find it. It's out there.
And
like I said, some people have time to make it and some people can't find chicks and hens. And I don't know if that's a regional name for them. Is it just Midwest that calls them chicks and hens? Are they called chicks and hens in California or Vermont? I don't know. And I think that's part of the problem, that lemon verbena, okay, but the chicks and hens seems to be what the problem is. So, and a lot of people said I planted all these chicks and hens so that I could make the solution, and the deer ate them all, which is true. Deer love chicks and hens. So,
will you be selling that online as well once you have the?
Yeah, when I finally get it done, and I have to call somebody because I need to know if I shouldn't have to seal those bottles, but I might feel better if I did seal them. So I need to call somebody first to see if I could just cap them up or if I should seal them.
Yeah. Mr. Miyagi also asks, have you seen an increase of earthbounds from drug overdoses this past year?
The suicides have been horrible, and the drug abuse, absolutely. And it started the January of not this past January, but the January before. And that one, in a 6-month period, I think I did 11 suicides, one guy, and the rest were all girls. And some of them did it by drugs, and some of them were maybe accidental, maybe. But yeah, this virus, this COVID, took its toll on teens, let me tell you, especially the girls. Girls are so social, and when they couldn't see their friends or hang out with them or go to school, I think it really had a bad effect on them. So yeah, there were definitely more suicides and drug overdoses. The new one that I'm finding is mushroom overdoses. I don't even know. And being a child of the 60s, I suppose I should know that. But I do not remember people popping mushrooms before. But somebody just died here about 3 weeks ago from an overdose of funny mushrooms.
Shrooms.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I'm totally ignorant.
It's funny. A lot of people are always surprised when they ask, what's my favorite psychedelic? And I'm like, none. I do none. Maybe I'm too much of a control freak. But the tradition I'm trained in, which is a tradition high up in the Andes Mountains, nothing like that grows there. And it's self-work and discipline of learning how to communicate with spirit, not tripping your balls off. Because I'm like, well, how much of that is just your mind versus you actually made a connection? And
right.
But I smirk because so many people think weed and shrooms are the safe ones, and I'm like,
I don't think so.
Well, let me get off that soapbox. Coins and Ghouls ask, I buy all coins on a regular basis. Can I bring spirits into my house by buying them?
Yes, you can. And like I said, it's very easy. When the package comes, do not bring it in the house. Take it and put it, get a smudge stick and light it up, and just outside, just go around and around and smudge around it. And If so, somebody knows if they are attached to it that it is, you mean business and there's no sense in coming in the house with it. The other thing that a lot of them have, coins, I have found, have terrible curses on them. You know, when a miser has their money, that's theirs, and they're going to curse anybody that tries to touch their money. And so you buy an old set of coins, even the wheat pennies. I had somebody that came in on wheat pennies. Uh, I got a whole drawer full of wheat pennies, and so you never know. It could. I had somebody come into a house with a mug with a brush that men used to go like that to put right the I don't even know if guys even use that anymore. And but somebody was attached. Why would somebody be attached to something like that? I don't know.
Unless it was something that was handed down, you know.
And it could have been a family thing. It's so silly.
So Gina asks, if a couple passes away at the same time, like from a car accident, are they immediately earthbound together? Can they see each other up until their individual light disappears?
Correct. And if neither one of them go to the light, they can see each other. They still don't usually hang out together because it does affect their energy somehow. The only ones that do hang out like in a group are children ghosts. Kids like kids, whether they're alive or dead. So, but adults, and I've said, I told about this before. I did a house that had a husband and wife in it, and the wife never came up from the upstairs to the first floor, and the husband never went to the top floor, but they were both in the house. Of course, she killed him. So maybe that's why she didn't, or he didn't, but that's beside the point. But they didn't hang out.
Take out that trash.
Yeah, right. Exactly right. Haha, I fixed you. So
you know, when you hear of these little old feisty ladies from way back when, and their husbands just had these accidents falling downstairs, or, you know, and it
poison. They were real big into poison. Let me tell you.
Find out some of these guys weren't the nicest, you know, and you're like, well, rock on there, little old Mabel.
Yeah, I'm telling you, some of them, and those great big hat pins that they had in their hats. Oh my God. Over the years, I found two men that were killed by hat pins. So knitting needles, oh, they can be dangerous too, let me tell you.
I mean, I kind of have
that would be an interesting book. People that got killed by weird things.
Next book there, Mary. I'm sure you
got
on this.
I've got a whole list of stuff I'd like to do a book about. I just have to find somebody that wants to publish it. So
no, we're going to go self-publishing. We so are.
Let's just get the iPod podcast on first. Let's not go in another direction yet, okay?
You know my mind. I've got 37 hamster wheels working and 67 tabs open on my Google my phone has 67. This is probably 45 on my Mac.
Jeez.
Anyway, what kind of spirits are referred to as ghosts? Just earthbounds, or are crossed over also ghosts?
No, it's a name for both. And I mean, technically, if they're earthbound, then you call them earthbound ones, the ones that are stuck that never went into the light. But ones that crossed over are still ghosts that come back and forth and visit. People call them spirits or grandma and grandpa. So the name, but there's so many names for ghosts. I mean, it's like when you look at a vase of mixed flowers. Yes, there's a rose, and yes, there's a daisy, and yes, there is periwinkle. And you're right. But if you look at that vase of flowers and say there's a vase of flowers, you're right about that too.
Oh, just showing some of our other hellos. Like we have friends here in Northern Ireland.
Oh, nice.
So can an earthbound come back out of the portal if it just kind of went in?
Somebody that lives in a portal can pop their head out, see what kind of people are living in this house, and go, Nobody here I want to hang out with, so they'll just go right back in. They don't have to stay at that length of time, but they can peek and see if it's someplace they want to stay for a day and a half or two. And once, say you have a regular one that comes in, 2 or 3 times a week or twice a week, when that one leaves, that doesn't mean another one can't come right in after. So it doesn't always have to be the same ones. They can change around like that. They just only one at a time, which is a good thing. You wouldn't want two of those hanging out in your house. But one at a time only comes out of a portal. Well, when they come through the front door, the sliding door, the garage door, it could be more than one.
I'm reading through all of the comments of everybody going, "Where's Lewis?"
Oh,
So
yeah, Lewis.
he is MIA. So I don't know if Lewis is listening, but just wrapped up in schoolwork. Everybody notices you're not here, Lewis. We miss you. Dee Dee asks, have you seen any spirits that have died from COVID? The disease progresses so quickly and that they are so afraid. I wonder if there are many spirits that stick around because of unfinished business.
Absolutely. And especially when it was at its peak, when they weren't even sending the bodies to a mortuary, they were just putting them in cold storage someplace till something could be done. People are and were very upset about it. Funeral homes are taking them again, so it's not so bad. But just the idea of not dying alone, or just having a kind nurse or hand call your home so they can hear you breathe for the last time. That I just talked to somebody yesterday about this. Their father died and their mother, they both got COVID together. And he died and she's really bad, so they sort of got him cremated because they could do that now, and he's just waiting around for his wife, I'm sure.
Well, you've always said that there's always way more husbands waiting around for the wives, but we women wives, we just kick right on over.
Yeah, we're good.
We
We're
don't wait.
good.
We're kind of
Not anything to any guy, but I'm sorry, women are so much stronger than men. I truly believe that. I really think all the mafia and the Italians was really they were really run by women, not men. They just had them doing the work.
Well, it's funny for you to have that notice, right? About how, it works in the older homes. Part of the training that we do a death rites weekend where you actually are pulled out and you have to go through the whole, like, as you're dying. And if you can't get yourself to cross over, you have to keep going over and over until you're actually able to disconnect emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and cross over. All of the women, what was hardest for us to let go was picturing our children like, please, mommy, don't leave, or, don't go, or feeling the need, like, I have to make sure they're okay. The men in the group, their reason for having a hard time was because they wanted to go get that car that they never got it, or they wanted to go travel, or they, completely non-family related. And I'm like, what a difference between,
And they're not all like that, but
yes.
there's a lot of them that are like that, really, truly.
Yeah,
And
I'm like, wow, what a difference.
and I think nowadays, back in the day, you graduated from high school, you got married, you had your kids, the husband went to work, had the same job for, 40 years and then retired. But now, because nobody makes a commitment anymore, you just live together. And I think the selfishness doesn't go away. I don't think you give 100% to the relationship if you don't make the full commitment. That's just my opinion, but I really think there's something to it.
Well, at first I was like, are these the guys who aren't dads, right? Who aren't married? No, we got to the married ones, and it was reasons other than, are my kids going to be okay? Are my grandkids going to be okay? And I'm like, huh, it's just interesting. Because my first perception was like, hell no, I'm going into that light. Nothing, but to have that, forethought of laying there dying and, my son is like, mom, and I'm like, oh, no, this is hard. This is
Right,
really
right.
hard.
Yeah, and that's why some people take forever to die.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when they finally start seeing people from the light, that they finally release and go, well, gee, there is something more. I am going to see Great Aunt Susie, and it really does help. And they got to get their head around it that once they go into the light, they can still come back.
Right.
You're
Well,
not there forever. You can come back.
well, and part of this training that we go through, and the light bulb went on over the head, was like, not only are you helping the person who is actively dying to be comfortable with, the majority of the help has to be the living family members. Like, don't ask them to keep hanging in there because now they're just suffering. Give them the permission to go so they can come back for you.
That was a good thing back 35, 40 years ago. You died today, it's Wednesday, your body went to the funeral home. Maybe tomorrow afternoon you would be ready to be viewed. Probably really not till Friday, though. And then it was Friday viewing, afternoon and evening. Saturday viewing, afternoon and evening. Well, nobody wants to pay the fee to dig you up on a Sunday in the cemetery, so maybe we'll do it 3 days. You are so done, you're ready to let them go. You need to be done with this. But nowadays, you die today, you're shown tomorrow, and you're buried the next day. I don't think people have enough time to grieve.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you can't leave me. You have to stay with me. What am I going to tell your kids? Where's the money hidden? Where's the insurance policy? What's the combination to the safe? What's the password for the computer? I mean, there's all kinds of stuff why they don't leave. But back when, I think they were ready to go and you were ready to let them go.
Right. Absolutely. So get in touch with your family members, don't wait till they're actively sick and dying and all that. I wish I would have said, and please don't leave so we can fix this before you die type thing. Like, just.
And remember this, if you get to the funeral home and you kneel down to say your prayer and you're looking at who's ever in the casket that you really never liked anyway, whatever you're going to do, don't say it out loud because they're standing right there and they're still going to hear what you say. So keep it to yourself.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, now that we've had fun tangent, let's get back.
Yeah, right.
Coins and Ghoul says, where I live in Missouri, we've had have the most underground caves in the country. Could that be a reason we have so much paranormal activity?
It could be one of the reasons, but Missouri is another one of those states out west. Here we go. That I see more alien activity than I see anything else. And I don't know if it's because it's open, like Wyoming and, Montana. Those states have so much vacant property that's actually, like I said, that's where I've seen more aliens out there than anywhere else, pretty much.
I think I picked up my alien problem from Tucson this last time.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. And that was Arizona. And that's another a lot of vacant property not your major cities, but out in the country. It's country.
The desert, it's open.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Longest drive ever. Driving through a desert and through Texas out that way, and you're looking at this one mountain for hours and it never gets any closer. Like, oh my God, this is torture.
Yeah.
So Mirror asks, are your guardian angels always around you or just when in need?
No, your guardian angels are a constant. From what I've been able to determine, they show up when your baby is due in about 6 weeks. So they are there for the whole last month of pregnancy. And they are constant till the day you die. They do not leave your side. They are with you 100%.
So a little tangent back only because I was a fan of Andre the Giant as a kid. Linda Wolf says, "Love the Princess Bride. Andre the Giant was my patient in the hospital. He was the
Oh
nicest
my
guy
God.
ever." We all, aw. You know, he's probably the one wrestler that well, him and maybe Randy Savage were probably the two that I remember as a kid that I thought were like the greatest and would have liked to meet
Yeah.
him.
Just because somebody's a big person doesn't mean they're not nice.
No, if nothing, like you heard, he was nothing but one of the nicest guys.
Right.
Let's see. Sam is asking in regards to the recipe. How did you get a hold of that recipe? Do you know how you came across it? And
Yeah, it was word of mouth from old aunts and old bubbas and nanas and grandmothers and whatever Gigi's, whatever you call them. Uh, Everybody had like a little family recipe. And if you think about it, if you are used to going to Europe, when people came here and settled in America, they kept their customs that they brought with them from whatever country they came from. And if you go to pockets of, well, not so much anymore, but you could go to pockets of Irish people, Italian people, Polish people, German people. You look at their backyards, every one of these people that came from Europe had lemon verbena growing in the yard and chicks and hens right by the back door. There's a reason for that. Almost all of these people had quince bushes. A quince isn't on a tree, it's on a bush. Quince bushes growing in their yards too. So they had knowledge from years and years of knowledge. I mean, maybe chicks and hens was the thing that they developed here, but maybe it wasn't exactly the same thing that was they used, in the old country. And it was just trial and error till I found the right combination, the right ingredients, and saw that it absolutely worked. So that's how that came out.
let's see. Pat says, "Good morning. We are making small renovations in our house, and I've noticed light bulbs going out quickly and my smoke alarms going off when nothing is wrong. I'm thinking I need to hop on a Zoom."
Sounds like a good thing. And maybe it's a person that owned the house that liked it the way it is, and now you're changing it. So that could be a reason why whoever it is got active, if that's what it is.
Let's see. There was a question, and I can't quite see it, but somebody asked if when you're looking at people, are you able? Here it is. Melanie says, "Are you able to see spirits inside of people who are possessed the same way you see negative energy on someone or something?"
If it's a very strong possession, I get a pretty good hit on it. But if it's not, like walk ins, I can't tell a walk in just by talking to them. But a possession has two spirits in it. And that's why the energy that would be coming from that person, it would be more than just your normal energy from a normal one person. With the second spirit in it, the energy is going to be a little higher, and that's usually how I can tell.
And Sandy asks, "Does holy water have any other power besides giving a blessing?"
You can use holy water when you do a curse removal if you want, or the olive oil, or you can use that. Um, Once the house is cleared and there's no earthbound spirits in it, if you're comfortable, running around the house and throwing holy water around, that's fine. You just don't want to do it with earthbound spirits because it makes them so angry if a layperson does it. You get your priest or minister in there to do it, and they can go crazy with the holy water, but not a layperson.
And here's a pretty good question. Do people without yards have to worry about fairies? What if you live up on the second floor? You're in a high rise.
Okay, how often do you bring in a potted plant? Do you get flowers delivered to you? Um, Are you one of these people that even though you're in an apartment, that you have a little fairy garden in the corner of your living room? Yeah, they can come in if they want to. Absolutely.
I probably even with live Christmas trees, I'm
Oh
sure.
yeah, that's how I ended up with one with a bald Christmas tree. We dug a hole probably in September, beginning of October, covered it over with a board, bought a potted Christmas tree that year in the basket, and brought it in the house. And son of a gun, it it took me forever to get rid of those little critters. But yeah, it came in with the Christmas tree. You know what else they're coming in with? People are planting a lot of them, and I even had one come in an artificial bamboo. People are planting bamboo, bamboo trees in the yard. They're big in California or hotter climates, but you can buy. Some lady bought a bamboo tree from before it closed Pier One Imports, and that fairy must have been dumb as a box of rocks, thinking it was a live tree, but came home with it.
Hmm. Well, I know like those little money trees sometimes are done with like mini bamboo, so I'm sure they're hoping for the prosperity, and I think it's a feng shui thing,
Right.
for for that. I was surprised to find that bamboo will grow pretty well here in Ohio.
Yeah, I know it does.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Really?
And for some reason, I don't know what the background is, but I know it's supposed to draw money.
Huh. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that I do know.
Let's see. We may have to have Ted check because I was just poking around on your website looking for your fairy recipe. I didn't see it.
Ted,
So
is the fairy recipe still on the website?
It never was. It was in the newsletter.
Ah, it was in the newsletter. You'll have to put it on the website, hon.
Can't fit. We had tried it, it didn't work.
Call that webmaster person, see what they say.
make them do it. That's why you pay them.
That's right.
Okay. So Amy says a friend's dad was a cab driver. He got a 100,000 hell banknote. Is that bad to have? What I know of hell money,
I
or
don't even know
sometimes
what that is.
they're oversized money notes. They're Chinese in origin, and they're used for ancestor work. Um, so not usually. Um, my question would be, was it actually handed to them? Were they trying to scam them in the money? Was it accidentally left in the car? Because usually those oversized money notes, and they look like oversized like Monopoly money. So that they're not like real tender. But it's used in ancestor work for leaving offerings, and because some of the Chinese traditions, if I remember this correctly, like they use that money on the other side for things, and it's like a way of gifting and blessing them. So my first thought, but from what limited knowledge I have, no, it's not a bad thing just to have it. Now, anything giving to anybody, depending on what the attention is behind it, you could try to give a negative energy thing with something as pure as like a crucifix, So just because it says hell notes doesn't
Doesn't mean
necessarily.
it's bad. Right. But I've
Um,
never even heard of that. So
yeah.
I'm so glad I stay in my space. Got to do that.
It's a lot to learn, and
Nah.
oh, here we go. So Heather says, anytime I smudge my house, the smell of the smoke always makes me feel sleepy. Is this a common theme, or am I just a weirdo?
I think depends on what kind of smudge you're using. I think that might have an effect because there are so many different, and it's not flavors, even though I call them flavors of smudge sticks. I mean, they're different scents. And maybe one of the smudge sticks that you're working with has something in that, makes you sleepy. People can be allergic to that smoke very easily too. So Of course, something that works that well is going to give some people problems. That's the way it always goes.
Well, my first thought too was, is it working so well, changing the vibe that now you're relaxing? And so
And that's a possibility too, because with them in the house, you don't sleep well at night.
right. Let's see. Oh, thank you, everybody. My t-shirt. I kind of held it up at the beginning, but it's just a tarot, the Lover's Tarot card with the Princess Bride people. Trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. So somebody asked what alien problem I had, because I briefly mentioned it. I go out to Tucson every January, February for the big gem show, bring things back. I handpick 99% of the stuff that we sell in the store. Over the years, I've gotten quite attached there, would like to spend part of my time out there, and had a really hard time. Just felt like I was leaving my best friend behind, and but come back and having a hard time falling asleep, staying asleep, kept waking up. And finally one night, what was it? Probably 2:30, 3 o'clock. I do not sleep on my back. I'm a side and stomach sleeper, but felt like I fallen and woke up on my back in the most loudest, high-pitched metal shrieking noise. And I remember thinking, what is that? And immediately thinking, because across the street from my house at the time is like a farmer granary plant where they grind up, the feed, and the trucks come in and they load it. And even though it's in the middle of the night, I'm like, is something going on over there? Is the town getting ready to burn down? Because the town is about this big and we're all pretty much within, rock throwing distance of this thing. And so I'm starting to look out the windows like, oh my God, what's going on? I got to get the kid up. I got to move, Everything's fine other than this god-awful noise. And it lasted 2-3 minutes, and then it just stopped. It didn't fade away. It didn't just peter out. It just turned off like a switch. And, still had a little bit of a sleeping problem. And I think, Marianne, it finally dawned on me that was like maybe a Sunday, Monday night, and it was Wednesday morning before one of our lives. And I'm like, oh, Marianne. And you're like,
here.
and you got it from Tucson. And I'm like, well, those jerks. I have a hard enough time sleeping. Leave me alone. So.
And that is how I can tell if you've had an alien encounter, if you want to call it, or some aliens have been fussing around you, or they've got a probe someplace on your property, in your house, in you. This sound is horrible. It just, I can hear it the minute I pick up the phone, and I know exactly what it is. And I hadn't talked to you till that morning, and sure enough, that's exactly what it was. So took care of that.
Yeah, and I can't even think of anything that can make that noise.
Oh, no. I wonder, when you blow a dog whistle, only a dog can hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Supposed to be decibels real high. I wonder if this is something like that not everybody can hear it, but when you do, it's there.
Yeah, like the mental image is almost like sharp metal scraping, but even the few times I've heard that, because my dad's a mechanic, like that's not even quite high enough and right. Like it really is an awful.
Chalk screeching across a chalkboard, how horrible that sound is. I mean, it just makes your teeth
make
hurt.
It metallic.
Right. It's 10 times worse than that.
Right.
That's the only way I can describe it. It's not a pleasant sound at all.
No, I hope to never hear it again.
No, you don't need to. Right.
I'm not a fan of high-pitched noises anyway, and I think there's actually like a name, like how there's a name for like hating the sound of people chewing. I think there's one.
Oh, there's a name for everything, right?
Right, and I instantly, like, now I'm mad when I hear it.
Well, yeah, and and it's like, gee, I invite people to my house. You just don't walk in. If you get an invite, you can come, and then it's my fault. But if I didn't ask for you, don't come in.
Yes, it's nobody invited you. Go away. Let's see. Did everybody wants more books? We talked briefly about how you should put the book out about weird ways, and somebody even suggested title it "I Died How."
Very cute.
Uh,
I have to think about that. That's good.
Let's see. What time are we at? Oh, wow. I thought we were way over 11 already.
Well, let me, but while we're here, still here, the Mercury Retrograde we are in right now started on Sunday night, and it's going to go until the 18th of October. And you're still going to feel a little bit on the 19th. So we just be aware of it. That's all I have to say is just really be aware of it. We have a Zoom on October 6th, that Friday night at 7:30.
8th.
Pardon?
8th.
Oh, the 8th. Why did I put
Friday?
Okay, Friday. Oh, I know why I have this here. Next week on Wednesday, the 6th, is the new moon. And it peaks Eastern Standard Time at 7:05 a.m. So before you come on here, you better have your Law of Abundance check written, because it'll be too late unless you're in California or some other country. But if you're in this area, it better be written. Yes, Zoom is on the 8th at 7:30 p.m. And I'll be at Melissa's store, the Goddess Elite, on Sunday, October 24th.
Yes. So from 4:30 to 5:30. If you're local or in the area, come in, can ask questions, bring pictures. Marianne, you can tell from pictures kind of somebody's crossed over or not.
Yeah, if they have negative energy on them, I can, if it's a recent picture, don't bring me one from 25 years ago. I don't know what happened then. But try to bring a recent picture.
Yeah. So
and you can show me on your cell phone as long as you hold the cell phone. I can't hold it, but if you show me it, that, or I'll have to bring my rubber gloves with me. I was kidding about those. I buy those, but you have no idea.
I always think of Dexter's mom from Dexter's Laboratory. She always had her rubber gloves and she never took them off. Even when she was sleeping in bed, she'd be with her hands above her blanket and have her rubber gloves on. You can also tell by looking at a picture if they bring in things that have like orbs or anomalies.
Right, exactly. So bring a pic. And if you want me to talk to the kids, you can bring them in that time period from 4:30 to 5:30. Not an issue. It's just that they can't stay for the talk that starts at 6:30.
There we go. And the talk at 6:30 is a paid thing. So that is different. So make sure you register for that. There's still about 10, 15 spaces left because we do cap it at 30. So it's about half full.
And 30 is a good number because in that 2 hours, everybody can get their questions answered. That's for sure. But just keep this in mind. If you're coming in there to see if you've got a ghost attached to you, Melissa's store is totally secure. If you've got a ghost attached to you, it's waiting out in your car. It's not coming in with you.
Let's see. A lot of I love that everybody, all of our friends chat with one another back and forth. So everybody, somebody asked if fairies make themselves maybe kind of look like an alien to be more perceived as okay to have around or vice versa.
No, they don't change the way they look. They hop in and out of other dimensions. But a troll still looks like a troll, and a fairy still looks like a fairy, and a leprechaun still looks like a leprechaun.
Let's see. So some book recommendations going on in the chat. Everybody loves your books, those that have read it. Laughing about rubber gloves.
Do what you have to do.
So for the check of abundance, so it's after midnight before the new moon peaks.
Right. So next Wednesday, anytime after midnight on Wednesday, 12:01 a.m. until 7:05 a.m. That's when you write the check out to yourself.
Maybe. And I haven't watched these movies in a while, but is it like Freddy Krueger scraping his hand on metal because he had those knives?
I don't think I ever watched one of those.
Maybe it's been forever, but that would probably be just thinking of knives scraping across like a stainless steel.
It just makes my teeth hurt.
Yeah, it's eh. So I think that's it for today. There's some questions amongst everybody else in there, and but you guys can join us every Wednesday at 10 and ask anything that we missed or didn't see, because there's a lot of talking here and scrolling through all of them. And I can't even go back to the beginning. There's so many, like it cuts it off. It's so overwhelmed. So I love it.
And today, the YouTube at 5:30 is just regular letters. Letters are pouring in, which is great. I love it. Got one, I think, from Maryland, one from England. So it's just, again, questions. That's what I'll be talking about at 5:30 today on the YouTube thing.
Sounds good. But otherwise, you can join us every Wednesday at 10 a.m. live. You can always watch it later on either one of our channels. Podcast is in the works, and actually we're going to be recording here soon to get the first episodes out. So we'll be chatting with Miss Rebecca too for our intros, outros. And Marianne's videos hit every Wednesday at 5:30. So I thought you were going to say something.
Nope. I was going to say we're good. We got it. We got it under control today. I have to laugh. For those of you who are regulars, knows that Melissa does not believe in
Mercury Retrograde.
She says it's a bunch of baloney. And for any of you that were on Zoom on Monday night, I had just said, thanks for everybody joining. We'll catch you next week or next time. And every piece of Wi-Fi stuff went down in my house. The TV, the computer, everything.
But it's not retrograde.
Yes, it is.
So when it happens in 2 months and Mercury retrograde isn't coming, nor the shadow, and now I hear people saying it's the shadow of the shadow, and I'm like,
I never heard that. No, keep it in the time period. No. It's just in that time period.
And then if they say like, look, and it's not Mercury retrograde, then the immediate follow-up, well, Venus is retrograde, or Jupiter's retrograde.
But Mercury is the only one that would do this type of, even Earth retrogrades, but it's only Mercury, the planet of communication, that does this. It's the other planets all have their issues, but Mercury is the one that gives everybody a hard time, whether you believe it or not.
All right. There's a quick question on how to find a shaman. Ask around locally. If you are local, there's a couple through my shop. But do your research first before you start putting out money, because word of mouth is best. And depending on the tradition they're in, they won't go around necessarily promoting that they're a shaman. They wait for other people to call them that. Then that way they know their work is good. So I just see that comment. I'll leave that for you. All right, everybody. Well, and Brooke and Margie's given a quick reminder, and Amy, please like, follow, share. Actually sharing our videos and telling friends to join us helps us a great deal, as well as liking and loving, depending on what platform you're on. So thank you so much, ladies, for reminding me. I always feel kind of kitschy and tchotchke, like us, send us a like.
I don't think they'd be here every Wednesday if they really didn't like us.
I know. It's just, I hate feeling salesy and pitchy.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well,
thank you, everybody, and have a really good week.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.